Hello, Bloodies. Thank you for visiting the crypt, or office, of the Dead and Laughing Show, where the collection of stories is growing almost every night by souls just like yours. I'm glad to have you here as we delve into tales of the unexplainable and the unbelievable. Verses of shadows and specters, witches and weirdos. Did you hear that? Don't worry. Pay no mind to the entity in your area. It likes to wait until you're all alone. Now grab your cuddle corpse and say a prayer that you don't live in these moments. Welcome to Live with the Afterlife. Matter, locations. Cool, got that one planned out. Hello, buddies. Welcome back. It feels like this has been sparingly going by. I'm not even sure what I said made sense. It's so damn hot nowadays. Well, right now, it's just really fucking warm, and my dumb ass is wearing a long sleeve. Makes no fucking sense, does it? You caught me finishing up on a little script I'm writing, the layout for the scenes for the second short film on Tomography Films. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The first one is called Sunder. I would love to maybe revisit that with more people and possibly do more to it, but that's all that I can figure out what to do. It's the first time I've ever done that, and yeah, you know what? I'm hard on myself when it comes down to my own work. So seeing that, I was thinking like, oh, this looks like shit and everything. I do that with everything I make, just like every other creator sees with their stuff, and it's like, oh no. It's like I see it and I think it could be so much better, because like everybody else who creates, you think it could be better. But you know what? Figured I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I did what I could. I let it out, and I find it enjoyable. This is the first time I'm ever doing that, so I found it enjoyable. I showed it to Ghoulie Julie. I showed it to some other people, and hopefully anybody who's watched it, hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully it made you feel something. Hopefully it creeped you out a little bit, because the whole point of it is just to be a little creepy. I hope you enjoyed the breaking news segment, because since I don't have anything to do any type of like visual effects, I don't have anything for any of that, I did what I could, and since I wasn't able to put any gore or anything like that, I figured, you know what if I did a breaking news segment at the end? And I recorded it, I had the sound on there, and it describes what happens to the victim. So hopefully you enjoyed the whole fucking thing. All of it was just me. I've been asked already, who did you get to edit it? And like, I did it. I didn't know what to do. I was learning, I was figuring it out. That's why it took me a little while to do this, because I've been working on it for a few months, trying to figure out, a couple of things, really trying to figure out what should I call the channel. I wanted something with photography or videography, something like that, so settle tomography. It kept, every time I write it down, it's like autocorrect, type it out, autocorrect writes tomography, and no, tomography. Fuck you, autocorrect. But hey, it's not something that's normally out there, so that's the first thing named after it. So tomography Films. Hopefully you're waiting for the next one, because I'm trying to plan out the scene before I even work on any type of casting, and so far planning it out, I have, see how many scenes I have 6 scenes planned out, and I want them to be different rooms in each one. It's not going to be like, oh, you have to run out and do this. No, it's more like, it's weird the way you're going to have to travel. You could walk around and do whatever, but the only way you can travel, I'm not putting it out there, the only way you can travel is something that you would see everyday life. And you wouldn't think of it. Oh, fuck. It's going to be really dark, really quiet. I want the silence to really settle into you when you're watching this one. Because it's just going to be whatever sounds you hear from outside, whatever sounds you hear coming from the cast that I'm gonna have to look for, honestly. Just whatever sounds they're making. If they're making like little squeaks because they're scared, making like little like sighs because they're like, oh fuck, like what am I supposed to do? I want those to be picked up by the microphones. I want those to be picked up so that way it's like, oh man, like, you could feel it coming from them. The silence in the room is just, it's so much fucking worse when you have this. If I were to able to put music over it, what the hell was it? Like certain things I might want like music to be going over it just to intensify it a little bit more. I would love to do that, but I don't have money to fund all of it like that. This is just, it's something just to, I guess you could say passion project. I love all this shit that I'm doing, all the stuff that I'm doing. I love for example, the comic, graphic novel, whatever the hell you want to call it. I love reading those. I love reading all kinds of shit. But I love comic books, graphic novels, horror, just crazy shit. And I would love to make my own, like make my own story. And with these, each one of these is something, I want it to be something different. Something you're not thinking of. Where it's the travel, the way that they're getting dispatched. Everything. I want it to be like, oh, well, you're not going to think of this going to be happening. Would it be something I want to see? Yes, that's pretty much the idea. I want it to be something that I would want to see. So, with that said, hopefully this gives you a better idea of what I want to do with Tomography films. I want to do this. I have no budget, but I'm really fucking trying, and I'm really going to try to give it my all. Just really try to like dig my nails in this shit and enjoy it. Since, you know, funds are not at a grasp right now. Things suck, bills are getting higher, and expenses are just going up. Nothing's cheap. Nothing is fucking cheap. 99-cent store is dead. Rest in peace. Oh, man. Other than that, you're here for a scary story. And you know what? I hope you're in the mood for this one. Because this was a little weird. This actually is something that happened to me. It's my own instance when I... Alright, quick thing. I've been around a lot of funerals. Been around cemeteries long enough. And one thing, I've always enjoyed being around cemeteries. But whenever it's for a funeral or a wake, I've always had this question. Because of what I've seen, I've always had this question. And it's not only me that has noticed it. Multiple people that I've talked to have said that they had the same instance. That they've gone through the same moments at a family's funeral. So, the story is called, Do the Dead Blink? This happened to me when I was a lot younger. Hell, a long time ago, one of partial earliest memories was playing in a cemetery. I had no idea why. But it turned out it was for my grandmother's brother. This man was fucking insane. I don't want to make a make light of his situation. But he was literally insane. This is going to turn into a story about him. This man cut his own throat from ear to ear. And I'm not kidding. He did it deep enough to the point where it affected his voice. He went from talking normal to talking scraggly to just really gross sounding. And I remember that detail very much. I don't remember meeting him, but I remember that detail because so many people shared the same moments when they talked about him. How unsettling it was to see the scar go from ear to ear across his own neck. How unsettling it was to have a conversation with him since his voice was damaged by him cutting into his throat. Then having conversations with my grandmother about how was he when he was younger. My grandmother told me that when he was younger, he was in an asylum. He was put into, a legitimate asylum. Straight up crazy home. And this was, when was this? This must have been 30s, 40s? Fuck, probably around those times, around those years. I didn't get a precise date. But my grandmother was, what when was she born? I believe she was born in the late 1920s. So this happened when she must have been, it must have been like 1930s, 1940s, I think. Probably 1930s. And she said when he was in an asylum, the doctor started to warn her parents. My grandmother never talked about her parents, but she barely talked about her mother, which I have referenced before as being a witch. But the doctor was warning them about their son, about her brother, that they couldn't do anything to help him. They couldn't do anything to change him, to calm his mind. They couldn't do anything to make him relax, to make him change for a better. But then again, in those days, doctors were smoking cigarettes while they were helping deliver a baby. They were saying cancer sticks were healthy for you. And it shouldn't be strange to find out that the same doctor who was telling them that there's nothing he can do for their son said it in front of my grandmother, that her parents asked, I'm getting ahead of it, her parents asked, what do you recommend that we do for our son? The doctor recommended beheading. I am not kidding. I wish I was. I wish I was kidding. Because that doesn't sound like something that you would expect from a doctor. But the doctor recommended beheading. Insane, isn't it? How a doctor can recommend that. Beheading to somebody's child who, barely preteens? Aside from everything that man went through, or everything he inflicted, I remember going to the cemetery, playing. I remember overhearing my family talking, just like little tidbits here and there, and they were saying a couple things, like, were his eyes fluttering? I didn't know what the fuck that meant. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't care to what it meant because I was a little kid. All I was thinking was I was out in the sun playing, hanging out with my brother, my cousins, and I didn't know why we were there. So, with that knowledge, I just figured it was that. That was it. I got told years later that, that was a funeral. What do you mean? That was a funeral. Remember all the stones you were playing around and all this and this, the brick wall and all that? Like, you were climbing all over? Yeah. That was this graveyard. That was this cemetery. What the fuck? I was playing in a cemetery. Yeah, you were playing in a cemetery. Well, you and your brother and all of them were playing in a cemetery, and everybody was, all the kids were just playing after everything was done. So yeah, that was a cemetery. You don't remember it was a cemetery? It was a funeral? No, I didn't remember that. Hearing everything that they were talking about over, bringing up memories from him, they did bring up that, like, oh yeah, it's so creepy whenever you see somebody laying there and in their casket at the wake, how their eyes look like they're fluttering. At that point, I understood mostly, like, fluttering. Doesn't that mean? I think, man, does it? Like, what was that? What happened? His eyes were what? It looked like they were blinking. They were blinking. Yeah, it looked like his eyes were blinking. My grandmother said the same. My grandmother looked at me and went, "It looks that way, but I doubt if it was." My mom looked at me and was just saying, I could swear he was fucking blinking. We weren't the only ones that seen it. She looked at my grandmother and went, "Ma, you seen it too." And I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I'm not sure. I couldn't really tell, and they were just having a conversation about it. Some time goes by. Go to another funeral. This time, it was my dad's. I didn't get to see him at his wake. The devil said that since I was too little, you shouldn't see your father like that, because by that point my father was skin and bone. And if you don't remember, I've mentioned that my father died of cancer. It spread throughout his body. And he was a 6'5" tall motherfucker. Big son of a bitch. He was a sergeant in the army. I forgot his actual title. I believe it was platoon sergeant. But that doesn't really matter in this section, because when I remember seeing him when I was younger, he was a big motherfucker. And seeing him in the hospital before he died, played checkers with the poor bastard. He was skin and bone. So going from 6'5", well over 200 pounds, mostly muscle, partially fat, big motherfucker, very hairy, very hairy. He shaved and he still had a 5 o'clock shadow. He was borderline Robin Williams hairy. Going from that to skin and bone with no hair on his face at all. Seeing his eyes sunk in, seeing his cheekbones mostly show, seeing him go from a thick neck to thinner and just a little smaller, moving the checker pieces. It was strange. Very, very fucking strange. Never really had a conversation with the man, but by now I would have some choice words for this motherfucker. But last time I had a conversation with him, he was skin and bone, and he got to tell me what he wanted to say before he died. The night he was gone. The wake comes, and my grandfather asks my mom, the devil, "Do you want them to go see him?" The devil said no. For a good reason. Apparently, through that night, his body looked worse. I don't know how, but even the devil said that when she went to go see him, he was so much worse. It could have been a day or so after, but he looked so much just... It wouldn't have been good. He would have... The way she described it was a skeleton clinging to its skin. He didn't look like the man she fell in love with, the man that she began to hate, and then the man that she regretted ever causing so much fucking trouble with. I think that was just guilt on her end, but she said that seeing him was something that she didn't want us to see. She didn't want us to view him in that state. So he's the only one really that I didn't get to notice that. I did see my little sister go up to see my father's casket, and she freaked the fuck out. Her mom was a dumbass. So, I mean, in my point of view, her mom was a dumbass. But I don't know what the fuck she was thinking at that point. But seeing my little sister freak the fuck out and scream was fucking nuts. After he was buried, some more time goes by, and I believe a few more deaths. Every time we've ever went, I would see and think, are their eyes blinking? It looks like they are. Not really thinking too much about it. I didn't want to talk about it because simply I was shy. I guess you could say that. I was shy. And I would see this and I would back away from those conversations. I would hear my mother, my grandmother, I would hear people talk about it. I'd hear my uncle, whatever the fuck. I would hear them talk about it, and they would always say, it looks like their eyes are just like they're trying to open their eyes. It looks like they're trying to blink. It's so strange. As time went by, I would see my uncle slowly go from a taller man, average built, to skin and bone as well. Different reasoning. My uncle was gay, and he, during the 80s, he contracted, I believe it was, no, I don't think it was the 80s. I think it could have been the 60s. Around there, he was young. I believe he said he was like in his 20s. He's had it for a long time, and HIV, AIDS, it caught up to him. He got tired of the medication. He got tired of having to constantly pop pills, to constantly carry with him a fucking bag that was just fucking overflowing with meds. So he had that. He had, I believe he had high blood pressure, I think, or whatever the fuck. He had diabetes and all this shit, and it was finally getting to him, and he got tired of it. So he stopped taking his medication. He stopped taking his meds to help for his HIV, his AIDS. As it turned, it got worse, and we helped him as much as we could. Watching him go from a happy-go-lucky motherfucker to being weak, and helping him to the bathroom and cleaning out his home after he passed. It was fucking strange. But even the night that we got that phone call, because he went from hospice to hospice, he went from ICU to ICU. Fucking shit, he was like a touring attraction. He went here. He went all over the fucking place. And since he had enough funds, he was able to do so. The hospice nurses knew him. Some of them were bitches that were stealing his shit, or trying to steal his shit. If they would have caught him when he was younger, he would have drew blood. Oh, shit. But, no. They got him when he was older, when he was frail. So he wasn't going to try to do anything. He was weak. Not taking the medication it took a toll on his body really bad. Made things even worse that he ended up getting an infection in his bones. Stepping on a needle and not realizing it is very bad for your fucking health. That needle funneled all of the sweat from his foot, all of the debris that he would step on. It would just funnel everything straight into his bone. By the time they found it, it was too late. They couldn't do anything for him. So, ICU to ICU, hospice to hospice. When we got the call that he passed, we couldn't believe it. By that point, going to funerals and hearing people die, it's sad to say, it kind of numbed me. It did. It kind of numbed me. And I felt bad. Because I've seen my grandmother crying her eyes out. I've seen my mother crying her eyes out. And I just felt bad, but like I didn't know what else to think. I didn't know what else to feel. Besides, like, wow, that's fucked up. That's it. And I felt like shit after that because he was such a wonderful person. He was a good dude. Anybody, you could say whatever the fuck you want. He was one of the nicest motherfuckers that I knew. He got us started on horror films, comic books, art in general. He got us started on a lot of those things. From fucking hell. From taking us to comic book stores and to, I believe he was the first one to take us to Frankenstein's. Taking us to all over the place just so he can sell and trade comic books. He got us things, and he was a genuine treat to be around. He was a wonderful fucking dude. Despite my other uncle being a gay bashing homophobe, even he knew that, well, he wasn't such a bad fucking guy. But that night that he passed, we went to go see him. We had to, obviously, go see him so my grandmother could sign everything, my mother could be present, and they asked me if I wanted to go. I said, yeah. So we went. It's strange to see somebody who passed like an hour prior. To not see the lively movements, to not see their chest go up and down, to not see the little glint in his eyes anymore. Since it was still pretty fresh, you could still see the light reflecting, but it wasn't the same. To see somebody up close like that, you could realize that, yeah, they're not blinking. His eyes were halfway open when I seen him. Jaw slack, laying down. Not like he was sleeping. Not at all. I've heard people say that, where they say, oh, it's like they just fell asleep. No. Everybody that I've come across that were deceased before the funeral, whatever the fuck, they don't look like they're sleeping. You can tell they're not inhabiting this body anymore. You could tell they're no longer there. Seeing him at that point, I felt very bad because he was gone. Seeing that he's just laying there and realizing he's not going to be around anymore. It was crazy. But here comes the point. Here comes the part where we have the wake. We go and we set everything up, and it's fucking crazy to realize that he dyed his hair so much that his gray hairs were not showing. He dyed his hair so fucking much that it was just black. You know what? I guess you could say he was part of the influence of why I always wear black. Because that motherfucker always wore black. Even he was an extra in movies, and even during those movies he was wearing black. So, hey. But he was wearing dark colors then too during his wake. Seeing him laying there, in a distance you could see his eyes flutter. My mother, being very fucking distraught, was looking up and then looking away. I asked her, "Do you see it?" She said, "Yeah." Brother's the same thing. Like, "Do you see that shit?" Like, "Yeah." Why is it they always look like they're blinking? As if it's some sort of Morse code trying to tell you one last thing. It looks like if they're blinking rapidly, just off and on, as if they're trying to signal for something. Why does it look like that? My mother didn't want to look anymore. She looked away after the funeral and everything. We finally were able to talk about it, and I asked, why does it seem like that all the time? Every time we go to a wake, it looks like that. It's like, I don't know. It always looks that way, but it looked a lot more with him. And she wasn't wrong. It looked so much more clearer when he was laying there. It just the pale tone of his skin and just the darkness of his fucking hair. It's like, geez. Eyelashes were dark, fucking eyebrows, hair was just pitch black. It seemed as if it was a outline to show his eyes fluttering, not opening all the way, like if, oh shit, like if you're stunned. It was just partial, like if you're trying to peek and not get noticed, but you're fucking terrible at it. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was trying to peek without getting caught. After that, the conversation still continued, and I talked to other people about that, and majority of people who have gone through this explain the same thing, that yeah, it looks that way. I've seen it on TV as well. Why does it look like they're blinking? Do they really blink? Do the corpses actually blink? Do they do this? Do they do this? Some cases it said that they don't seal the eyes all the way, because I've seen what they put on the eyeball to stop the eyelid from opening, and fuck, that looks like it's painful. Oh, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. But it's like a little contact lens with spikes sticking up, like little fucking spurs sticking up, and it latches onto the fucking eyelid, holds it shut. It looks so fucking uncomfortable. Some people might hear me say that and realize, oh, it's like when you get a hair on your eyeball and you're wearing a contact lens and your eyeball is dry as shit. I'm thinking like that, because I've worn them a couple of times and it just like, oh fuck, it hurts so much. Probably like it's happened to a friend of mine before, where a shard of metal hit his eye. He didn't realize it. He felt something poke and started rubbing around. What do you think that shard of metal did to his eye? Ooh, fucked his shit up. Was slicing around the outer layer in just a messed up pattern. Ooh. God, I remember seeing him after that. He wasn't happy. He was out of work for a little bit, but he wasn't happy. Oh, shit. Now imagine that, but a whole contact lens just spiked up, locking your eyelids down. Oof. But in some cases, it still lifts. Before, people's eyes used to be sewn shut. That's probably why. So that way they don't open up or flutter. It's fucking crazy to think about that. Even though I've had conversations with people where they have said that they've noticed this exact same thing, it's always crazy to think about that. Well, at least I'm not the only one seeing it. At least I'm not the only one that has noticed. It looks like if this person is trying to signal. Same thing happened when my grandmother went. Looking at her really did break my heart. As I've said before, my mother, the devil, she was the alcoholic, abusive father, and my grandmother was the angel mother, the housekeeper. She raised us. So seeing her really did hurt, but noticing that her eyes were fluttering, I didn't want to think about that beforehand, that I might have this instance with my grandmother. But it did. It did. And it hurt to have that conversation about her. To see that her eyes were fluttering. Same as my uncles, same as I've noticed before, same as the conversations I've heard, that it looks like they're trying to blink. Or they're trying to signal. Possibly trying to peek without being seen. And failing horribly. Seeing her doing it struck a different chord. People were pointing it out to me as I was having conversations with family members about what she said before she went. She didn't want to leave me alone. If she didn't want to go, she wasn't ready. She had to be here specifically for me. Which is fucking crazy. Probably because she knew I would end up like this. Granny would have loved it. She would have been like in her, early hundreds if she survived this long. Old bird survived until she was 83. Fucking shit. Having that conversation about her stung. Same thing when the devil passed. Wasn't able to see her. We weren't able to have the money for a funeral, for a viewing, for a wake. She made everybody a fucking enemy, so nobody wanted to see her. All these people that found out that she passed, oh, that's it. A series of sighs. That's all they ever did. And for the devil's sake, even though I hated her guts, I tell everybody who just provided a sigh, fuck you, in her honor. Go fuck yourself with a barbed wire fucking stick. And I'm not kidding, that's something that she would have said. Wrap it in barbed wire, make sure you spin it. Because she was a sick fuck. But that was my dear devil mom. But even with her, as it was just me, Gooly Julie, my shitbag of a brother, and his dumb cunt wife. I'm happy they didn't bring the kids to that, because that wouldn't have been good for them to see their grandmother like that. And happy they weren't able to fucking see all this shit. And Uncle was there too. The homophobe, he was there too. Mother was his baby sister, and you could tell it hurt him. Surprised he's alive, really, because Jesus Christ, apparently he's done some horrible things. But we all noticed it on her too. The eyes were fluttering as we sat in that quiet room. The silence was so fucking thick you could barely hear the background music in the cemetery. The same cemetery that we were playing at as I was a kid. We were in that room by ourselves and we were just watching. Talking to each other. Bullshitting about how this crazy bitch basically dug her own grave. Basically how she set it up where everybody would dislike her. Everybody would hate her. For reasons not her own and of her making. Not trying to defend her, but Jesus Christ, she picked some dumb people to fucking be around. They're all shit. including her family. Fuck them too. That's why I said, for her honor, they can go fuck themselves with a barbed wire rap stick. But seeing that on her face as well, never thought it would hit a chord like that. Not like dear old granny, but enough to make me think I never prepped for this day. When you lose that many people, you start to think like, wow, you really never can prep for when somebody passes. Spending most of my life at cemeteries, going to funerals, talking, having these conversations, having conversations where you can hear the other person in another room, or hearing a neighbor that has passed and hearing them outside saying, I'm fine. Which has happened, and it is on here, so yeah, go check it all out. But being to that many funerals, losing that many people, seeing all of it, really does, it's strange how you don't think about it before, but then when you lose people who are closer to you, realize you never prep for it. A lot of people that I've known barely have lost family. And in their cases, I'm happy that they've actually had a lifetime with them. But it was always strange having those conversations with people who never understood, because they always seen me as depressing, as crazy, as sad. And it's like, no, it's not. It does suck, the fact that I had to go to so many fucking funerals. The fact that I've had to go to wakes and see all this shit, have these conversations, and have to deal with this shit. But there's something strange. Things that I can't explain. Things that I wouldn't know how to even come up with an explanation for. I wouldn't know how to start it, how to finish it, any of it, besides thinking, that's fucking crazy. And like I said, I have even seen it on TV where people ask the same question, where they see their dead relatives or family friends or fucking whoever the fuck they were, they see their eyes fluttering. They see the dead blink. When you're actually up close to somebody who is gone, and pretty sure a lot of people have gone up to the family member, to the body, whichever fucking term you would want. What, I don't know. When you go up to them, they don't look like they are. Sometimes it still does look like it. Hell, I remember actually going up to one body and trying to see, like, are they fucking blinking? Are they? Are they doing it? I wasn't sure. So I was just like, what the fuck? It looks like they kind of still are. Like their eyes are like they're trying to like peek out without us seeing. And it was so fucking weird. And I wasn't the only one that noticed. Everybody that walked up to the casket said the same thing. As they walked up, they would notice. They wouldn't make it as obvious as my dumbass did. But I kept hearing it. I kept hearing them talk about it. I kept hearing them over and over. I swear, when we went up there and seen, I swear their eyes were blinking. I swear they were trying to open their eyes. I swear it was like they were trying to peek, like they were trying to do something. Different forms of the same conversation, ringing throughout the whole fucking room. Even after the funeral, the conversation still went on. And you know what? We actually had we had one thing that we always did. It was a tradition. We would always go to, what the hell was it? Miguel's El Tapia Cafe. If you don't know where it is, look that place up. It is delicious. Homemade food. That place is always fucking good. We actually knew the owner before he passed. The owner knew my grandma. That's why we always went over there. But we always went there after a funeral. Every time. It was a fucking tradition for us. I don't know if my mother's family continues it to this day, but that's something that we always did. And you know what? Growing up in a household where there was almost no food, I mean, off of potatoes and whatever kind of scraps you could fucking find, going there when somebody passed, if we weren't happy that we were going to a funeral, it wasn't like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to a funeral because we know we're going there. It was like, wow, this sucks. Like, they're gone. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's sad and all this. And then going after, it was like, yes! Don't want to sound insensitive, but it was always like, fuck yes, we get to go to El Tapayac. Fuck yeah. Go get that big fucking burrito. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure that was always the point. Because the conversations they had over there, everybody who was older, even after when I went there and I was older, it was always lighter conversations. We did talk about how it looked as if the bodies were blinking. We did have those conversations where it looked as if they were trying to blink. We couldn't come up with the answer. I remember some of them talking to the staff at El Tepeyac about shit like that. Like, oh, you ever know that about... And they would say it in Spanish, and I couldn't completely understand them. And I was like, what happened? And they're like, oh, well, they're telling about this. It's just a strange phenomenon that this happens. Like, apparently a lot of people notice it, and they would say the same thing. Like, yeah, they would agree. They would be talking in Spanish, having a conversation. They would be standing right there and having a conversation, being wonderful fucking people. Oh man, I want to go back. I want to go back. That place is good, really good. But either way, it was always the same kind of conversation. Every single time of every funeral, every wake that I've been to, they always had the same type of moments where it looks like the person is blinking, where it looks like they're trying to signal, where it looks like some form of a crude Morse code. I said Morse code, not Morse code. I know sometimes I say it and it kind of sounds like Morris, but Morse code. Blame my grandma for the accent. She raised me and I kind of got it a little bit. Don't believe me? Ask Gooly Julie. She laughs at the way I say her name. When I say her full name, when I say her proper name, she laughs at me. So, yeah. Oh, fucking shit. But have you noticed that? If you've gone to any funerals, I don't know any of your lives, buddies. I don't know what happens to your day to day. But if you go to any funeral, you go to a wake and you're seeing these people, your loved ones, family, friends, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whoever they are. Do you notice that their eyes flutter? Do you notice that they're trying to blink? Now I know some bloodies might say, wow, you're crazy, that doesn't happen. Pay attention. Look. It's not hard to look. It's not hard to pay attention. Not hard to look over and see the person who is your family or somebody you considered your family and realize that it looks as if they are trying to blink. So that's my question to you, bloodies. That's the answer I've never gotten. Is it all just an illusion? Just your mind coming up with these things? Just you seeing that and subconsciously hoping that they wake up? That was one of the conclusions that some of a family would have. Well, maybe it's just your subconscious. You're thinking about this. You don't want them to go. So you're thinking they're faking it. They're asleep. They're going to wake up any moment. They're going to get up and say, gotcha, fuckers! something. And that was an actual quote. Hearing them talk about it, I am not kidding. That was what I heard some of my family say. I've even heard the devil say that. Where, oh, I bet he's going to sit up and tell us he got us. That motherfucker. But even she knew that it wasn't. They all knew it, but they all had the same conversations still. Trying to come up with an answer. So that's my question to you, bloodies. Do the dead blink? Are they trying to signal you? Are they trying to show you that they're still there? Or maybe it's their last signal of a goodbye. Maybe it's the last thing that they can do. Because you know, by that point, the process has already been completed. Their blood is gone and they're filled up with fluids and all kinds of shit. All kinds of things are done to the corpse afterwards. To your family member. To somebody you've seen as a family member. As long as it's a basic wake. If you have like a fucking, what is it, a water funeral or whatever the fuck. If you have like where they're putting a pod and plants it, or putting like mixed with cement and then placed down the oceans, that way they could be a new coral or whatever the fuck. If it's a common wake of viewing, pay attention to that. Give me your answer. Do the dead blink? Let me know, bloodies. I hope you enjoyed that one. That was kind of a sensitive topic. I know a lot of people are sensitive when it comes down to death. But, you know, it's part of life. Death is a part of life, whether you want to face it or not. God damned already knows. I don't want to, because I remember that place. I remember what it's like before birth. You know, before the whole opening your eyes and seeing everything is just creepy darkness. No feeling, no emotion, just bleh. That's it. If you haven't heard that story, go check it out. It's Waking Before Existence. And that is my very first memory. It's still very clear to me. I still remember it. Still, to this day, I remember that darkness. No feeling, no movements, no nothing. Just there. Just a consciousness in a sea of not a goddamn thing. So go check that out. Somebody did leave a comment saying I was being oppressed by a Nephilim. Which, hey, that's a different one. I haven't heard that one, but it's been a while. So go check it out. You'll see which one it is. By the painting that goes along with it as well. The painting goes along with this. You'll see what it is. And I have announced that I'm no longer going to be doing Patreon, only because nobody visits it. I'm putting that on here. I'm being fully transparent. Nobody visits it. So, what's the point? Just leave it at that. What's the point? As for all this, make sure to go check out Tomography on YouTube. Make sure to go check it out. I might put, I'm going to put the link in the description, so you'll be able to go over there and actually go see the short film Sunder. It's 4.5 minutes of just creepy. Basically what it is, 4.5 minutes of creepy. I wanted to make you think, like, fuck, I'm alone. I'm alone in my dark home, and what's that sound over there? What's this going on? Only thing here is my cat. Which is funny. If you pay attention, you can see one of my cats. Really, I'm not kidding. You can see one of my cats looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Seeing that made me, every time I seen that, it made me laugh. I was fucking dying. I showed Ghoulie Julie, and she was giggling, because it was like, look at her fat little ass, look at her fat cat ass, just sitting there watching. It was funny. So yeah, if you notice that, you'll see why I was laughing. But for the rest of the film, I hope you enjoy. I hope it gives you the creeps. I hope it does. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If it's negative, go right the fuck ahead. I'm still gonna be doing this shit because I enjoy it. So go ahead. Doesn't bother me. Other than that, go check out the merch over on Threadless. I know I was saying that I'm gonna be putting a new design up. I actually have a couple of designs I would like to put up. It's just I've been caught up with designing my comic book, reaching out to publishers, trying to get somebody, you know, to help fund this. And I haven't gotten a response yet, so if I don't receive anything like this month, then I'm just gonna try to go forward with Kickstarter. I'm gonna try to handle this, try to do it, because I really want this story to get out there. Because one, it's a crazy story. I'm putting a lot into it. Each character is they're not inspired by anybody, but they all have their own backgrounds. They all have their own issues, their own things that make them who they are. Even some of the enemies are like that. But majority of the people who are going to be helping him have a deeper backstory as to why they're like this, why they're going after him, why they're helping him. So, yeah, go check that out. Go check out Stitch.comic so you can get an introduction for that whole shit so far. This character introduction so far, it's for the world and character introductions. The two main characters are Crude, because I did create this character a long time ago and I would love to use him for something, and why not something with horror? So it's Crude and Dahlia. Dahlia Aidens is the second half of the main characters. And yeah, they're connected. They're stuck with each other. He's a psycho piece of shit, and she's fucking crazy. She is. She's fucking crazy. But she's in love with him. She sees him as a savior, even though he almost gutted her like a fish. So yeah, go check that out on Instagram, Stitch.comic. Go check out all the links. Hopefully you enjoy. Don't forget, if it's on Spotify where you're listening, do whatever the hell. Follow, whatever the fuck. Thumbs up. Do all that stuff. Leave a comment if you want. Let me know what you think. If you have your own moments where you have noticed this, where you have noticed at wakes, at funerals, or whatever the hell you've gone to, where you've noticed that your family member or somebody close to you, it looks as if their eyes are blinking. Let me know. Because I know I'm not the only one that's gone through this, but it's so fucking weird with those conversations where you always notice it and you spot it, and it's just like, yeah, it's just so fucking crazy. Oh, it's a strange thing to have those conversations with people, especially when they were close to the person and they noticed it. It's such a strange feeling to have the conversation with those people. It's like, fuck, well, you're not the only one that's seen it, I'm sorry. It's fucked up, but it's so strange. I don't have an answer for that. I wish I could provide an answer for that. But, you know, try to console them. Try to make them calm down, feel a little bit better, even though in a terrible situation. As for me, it's warm. I'm sweating. And I'm going to get the fuck out of here. So, make sure, go check out all that stuff I was saying. Go check out Tomography Films. Go check out Stitch.comic on Instagram. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Bye, bloodies.